please stand as I welcome the current class president for the class of 2020, Liam Gleason, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you, Liam. Mr. Sean Simpson will now be leading us in a moment of silence.
Before we start, I'd like to take a moment to commemorate a woman whose smile was the definition of contagious. It is with great grief that I announce that Amy Martone, our beloved middle school teacher, passed away early Thursday morning. Mrs. Martone did so much for our community and for our school district. She only ever impacted my life in a positive manner, and she truly left a mark on every single person who's been across this stage. If you would please join me in a moment of silence for her. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Please stand for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner by Carolyn Cooper, Rebecca King, and Noel Wood.
Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, say, can you see?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. You may be seated. Please join me in welcoming the class advisor for the class of 2019, Mr. Christopher Donovan, to officially start the program with the welcoming address.
Good evening, Air Shirley teachers, administration, parents, family, and friends. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Ellie Philibrown for taking the time to run rehearsals this week. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Miss Rader, who's the behind-the-scenes heart and soul of our school community. Everything would fall apart without her here. Last but not least, good evening, 2019. Almost 4 years ago to the day, I walked down these steps after saying goodbye to the class of 2015, and I swore in my life I would never be back up here again. And it wasn't because it went so horribly. It was because I couldn't envision another group matching their honesty, intensity, and curiosity. A few months later, for reasons I'm never going to understand, I agreed to be your advisor. Suddenly, the ball was in your court. You were tasked with rising to the occasion and meeting the grand expectations that I had. And you did, and I'm really happy I signed up for this. The past 4 years with you, 2019, have passed so slowly and so quickly. Yes, I've been frustrated and overwhelmed because of you, but I've also had the privilege to share in all your joys and successes. And in the end, I'm a better educator and a better person because of you. So how did you do it? Simply put, it is your unremitting positivity. You have a way, all of you, to find fun in every single thing you do. I admire that more than you know, and I promise to carry that with me going forward if you promise to never, ever let it go, no matter where life takes you. Whether it's a rainy Red Sox game with a 75-minute delay, a seemingly impossible college course, or a job you really hate but really need. Remember the attributes that got you here and never, ever let them go. Find the good and get through it, and know the tarp always comes off the field. And remember that I don't stop being your teacher when you get a piece of paper in a little while. I'm always here. Dream big and remember the words of T.S. Eliot. In a minute, there is time for decisions and revisions, which a minute will reverse. So go and know that I'm waiting for all of you to dare disturb the universe. To my student council, Sarah, Robert, Hannah, Matt, Elena, Dante, Haley, and Bryce, thank you all so much for giving your time and energy to this class. You've come a long way since that first car wash that never happened because everyone thought someone else called the water department. It's been an honor planning, venting, laughing, and fighting with you. My Friday mornings already aren't the same. To my president, Brooklyn, thank you isn't enough, but it's all I've got tonight. Just know that everything you've done has reminded me why I do this. To quote the writer I admire most, that's you, saying goodbye to you will be my hardest. Just keep shining your light and the world won't know what hit it. You're brilliant, BK. And something tells me we're going to be talking about you around here for a long time after you walk across that stage. And remember, and never forget, we will always be in this together. Thank you, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the class of 2019 President, Brooklyn Mitchell Arno.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Brooklyn Mitchell Arno, and I am the president for ASRHS Graduating Class of 2019. Before I begin my speech, I would like to thank the school's administration for making this year the success that it was. Our principal, Mr. Christie, vice principal, Dr. Meyer, superintendent, Dr. Malone, and assistant superintendent, Mr. Cleary. Additionally, I would like to thank all of the teachers that played a role in my personal development and the development of all of us collectively. On behalf of the class, I want you all to know that from kindergarten to now, without you, some of us may not be in the same positions we are today. You have helped shape and mold us, and that is something we will cherish and carry for the rest of our lives. On this note, I also have the honor of thanking our class advisor, Chris Donovan. If you look back on the time we've had together as a class, our memories are laughable to say the least. From hosting a below-freezing Thanksgiving game to getting rained out of homecoming with a monsoon. Also, how ironic is it that the vegetarian burned down the concession stand grill flipping burgers? Regardless, our time spent together will always be cherished. You are unforgettable and profound, and we will always remember you. You mean so much to us, and I'm glad that we were your last advisory class. There was no one else I could imagine who could fill your shoes the same way, dedicating themselves the way that you do and caring for people the way that you do. You are truly one of ASRHS's finest, and I'm glad you're getting the recognition that you deserve. Lastly, to our family and friends, words can't describe how much all of your support has meant to us. In times of need, you became our rocks, helping us keeping us in check, pushing us forward, anchoring us to reality, and allowing us to see our potential when we may not have seen it for ourselves. Your guidance and support has brought us to this day, our graduation. I'm going to be honest, writing the speech was perhaps the hardest thing I've had to write in my high school career. It wasn't because I didn't know what to say, because I did, but I didn't know the right words that would fully express all that I felt for our class. I decided to treat this speech as an essay and a letter because a little birdie told me I may be good at that. So here it goes. Dear class of 2019, congratulations to each and every one of you. We made it. Many of you guys I've known since we were practically in diapers as we played alongside each other at ACS. Some of you guys came later over at the middle school, and some even after. Regardless of how long we've known each other or how close we may be to each other, we are a family. We bicker, we fight, ultimately give each other hard times, but more than anything, we love and support each other. Plain and simple. To each and every one of you, I love your hearts and your minds, because with those two as your guiding force, you will never fail. I am proud of all of you, and know that you will go on to do great and amazing things. Know that everyone in this audience believes in you, even if at times that belief in yourself falters. We will always have high school, but more importantly, we will always have each other. College is supposed to be the time of our lives, but it's also the scariest. What do you want to be when you grow up is a question that's followed us like a shadow all of these years. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. All of these words personify into little creatures in the back of our minds who just won't stop talking. Standing up here tonight, I'm telling you it's okay to not have anything figured out. It's okay to tell those voices to stop talking, and it's okay to do what you want to do, not what you were told. Life isn't about planning your future, but treating each day as if it were your last. From the wise words of a modern-day hero, go crazy, go stupid. But with this in mind, recognize the important role your life plays in those of other people. Second chances are hard to come by, so be mindful of your decisions in every aspect of your life. My high school experience is one that I will never forget, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to share it with all of you. Our journey together as a class may be over, but the friendships we have are far from it. You are some of my very first friends, and many of you will be my last. As we begin our individual journeys, remember the love that we have for one another. Make your smiles a little wider, and hug each other a little tighter today, because who knows when we'll see each other again. Thank you, Shirley, and class of 2019. Remember, once a Panther, always a Panther. Thank you, High School Musical. Your class president, Brooklyn Mitchell Arno.
Thank you, Brooklyn, for another amazing speech. Before we continue, I want to thank a few very special people for their role in making this event possible. Without their hard work, this couldn't happen. Please save your applause for the conclusion of this list. Special thanks to Mrs. Deb Rader. You are the heartbeat of Air Shirley Regional High School. Your smile fills a room, and you've worked tirelessly to make this event sparkle. Mrs. Judy Swift and Mrs. Terry Wallace, Mr. Bob Briggs, Mr. John Thomas, Mr. Kenny Lewis, Mr. Sconti Monge, Mr. Jerry Millay, Mr. A.J. Bousseau, and the entire custodial crew. Mrs. Michelle Town, Mrs. Jessica Rakip, and Mrs. Amanda Lewis, who helped beautify the stage and make us smile. Mr. Jonathan DeForge, Mr. Joyce Rishu, Ms. Cheryl Simmons, Mr. Jim Quinty, Mrs. Michelle Granger, Mr. Dan Gleason, and Mr. Joe Leone, Mr. Robert Norton, Mr. Gubellini and Ms. Twiss for speaking today, our faculty and staff at Air Shirley Regional High School, our NHS volunteers, Mr. Scott Curlin and our friends at APAC, Mrs. Jennifer Bigelow and the police departments of Air and Shirley, and the scholarship donors for their contribution and support. Thank you. Our next speaker will be the Superintendent of Schools for the district, Dr. Mary Malone, with her remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Christie. Brooklyn, that was a fantastic speech. Thank you. Greetings, graduates, parents, faculty, school committee, distinguished guests, and administration. Welcome to the 8th commencement of Air Shirley Regional High School. A commencement is a ceremony in which degrees or diplomas are conferred upon graduating students. The purpose of a commencement speech is to acknowledge the hard work and achievements of the graduates and to pass on advice while keeping one's speech short and concise. So let me give it a try. Dear graduates, I remember just 4 short years ago, you stood together on the covered bridge at the Bull Run. Remember your 8th grade dance? You were dressed to the nines and ready to have a good time. And I am sure you were filled with anticipation. Anticipation in what would the next 4 years in high school be like? Well, how has it been? What is your story to tell? I can tell you part of your story. You are outstanding young men and women who have excelled in academics, on the athletic fields, in the performing arts, in robotics, on student council, National Honor Society, and the list goes on. You have won championships, and many awards and accolades have been bestowed upon you. But central to your story is your character. No matter what event or scene, your demeanor has always been that of respect, empathy, responsibility, kindness, and honesty. You have represented yourselves and the school well during your 4 years at high school. But wait, the plot thickens. ASRHS Regional High School has been named the 2019 Best High School by U.S. News. The high school has received this recognition 4 of the last 5 years. We are in the top 15% of high schools in the nation and the top 27% in the Commonwealth. We are a best high school because of your hard work, the hard work of those who have come before you, and the hard work of those who follow you. So, what is the resolution? Keep on doing what you are doing. You seem to be successful. And no matter your next path, whether it is work, college, a gap year, or the military, stay true to yourself. Find and do what makes you happy. And do not let the rhetoric of today's world steer you in the wrong direction. You know how to make good decisions, you know how to do the right thing, and you know right from wrong. Your parents and your teachers have taught you well. Every one of you shows great promise in shaping the future. You are encouraged to lead with your head and to follow your heart. Know the small things in life matter. Inspire others and have the courage to use your voice. Go do great things, but remember, even the smallest act is great, especially when you help another. Appreciate yourself for all that you are and that all that you are blessed to have. Be kind, be humble, be brave, be bold. And as you move on, what will be your story? And as you write your story, follow the guidance of Dr. Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Godspeed, class of 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malone. Now it's my turn to speak. Good evening, members of the class of 2019, staff, families, and friends. It's not raining, which seems to be a first for an event for this year's graduating class. However, rain or shine, this class has filled our hallways with joy, been quick to offer suggestions, and to offer to help others. This class has welcomed Dr. Meyer and me into their lives, for which we will forever be grateful. Today is a day in which you will be offered advice from many people. Sage words of wisdom and stories which have made a difference to folks will be shared. For me, I will share with you a quote. In Harper Lee's classic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, the protagonist, Atticus Finch, is defending a man accused of a heinous crime, which is made clear he did not commit. However, Atticus often must persevere through the murky waters of racial injustice and prejudicial acts as he attempts to free his client. Atticus offers the following. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. We have seen this class define themselves by their conscious decisions to stray from the beaten path, yet to remain true to their internal set of values. For the first time in 19 years, we have a student who dual enrolled and has already graduated with her associate's degree. Kelsey Bozak earned her degree in liberal arts and sciences from Mount Wachusett Community College on May 23rd. Brandon Soto, Caitlin McKay, and Shandy and Jingay dedicated their time, energy, and talent to leading teams that created a mural at both the Page Hilltop School and at Jarvis Ford. Brooklyn Mitchell Arno wrote an incredible essay about Mr. Donovan that won the National Barnes & Noble My Favorite Teacher contest and brought the school community to tears. Brooklyn has never had Mr. Donovan as an academic teacher. She wrote this essay as a gift to him to say thank you for everything that he had given her, and it was incredible. And these are just a few of the examples of the class of 2019 finding their compass and making the most of their time. As you head off on your journey beyond these Panther walls, remember to keep your moral compass. You will be challenged by many along your path to sway from your beliefs and go with the crowd. Your core beliefs will point you in the direction of achieving your goals. This year, you helped us to establish our school's core values, which you can see on either side of the stage. You helped us to chart our course, to find what we aim to be, and to establish life lessons that reach beyond the classroom. You will forever be Panthers. The memories you have gained here will impact the rest of your journey. As you move forward, I implore you to keep Atticus's words alive. Stay true to your beliefs. Thank you. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Jonathan DeForge. Beyond being a proud graduate of Air High School, Mr. DeForge has served as the chair of the Air Shirley Regional School Committee this year.
Good evening. On behalf of the school committee, congratulations to the class of 2019. And thank you to the parents, supporters, and teachers and administration for bringing us all together on this beautiful evening. As we celebrate the class of 2019's graduation here on Harold Norton Field, I am honored to introduce Harold G. Norton's son, Robert, as our guest speaker for this evening. Robert's connections to the Air and Shirley communities are long-standing. Robert's father was superintendent of schools for Air, Shirley, Boxborough, and Fort Devens from 1944 until 1967. Robert, his sister Martha, and Robert's wife of over 53 years, Janice, all graduated from Air High School. After graduating from Princeton in 1965, Robert joined Procter & Gamble for a time until he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps to serve his country during the Vietnam War. His service in the Marines took him from Officer Candidate School in Virginia to the 2nd Marine Air Wing in Cherry Point, North Carolina, and finally to the 3rd Marine Air Wing during a 13-month tour of Vietnam. Leaving military life at the rank of captain, Mr. Norton joined Pfizer in their Corporate Human Resources Division in New York. In addition to working in New York, the Norton family also found themselves assigned to locations in Kenya and Belgium. Finally, in 1982, they returned to New York, and when he retired in 2004 after a 33-year career at Pfizer, Robert had risen to the position of Senior Vice President of Corporate HR. In addition to an outstanding military and business careers, Robert has demonstrated a commitment to improving communities through many educational and healthcare-related endeavors. He has served Fisk University as a benefactor and in various Board of Trustees roles, including chairman, since the year 2000. He has also served in leadership positions in many philanthropic organizations, including the Department of State's Overseas Schools Advisory Council, the International YMCA of New York, and the Healthcare Foundation, a group focused on the treatment of infectious diseases in Africa. More recently, Mr. Norton and his family foundation have been a benefactor of our school district by donating funds used to purchase over 12,000 books for the district's new K-5 literacy program. Additionally, the Norton Family Foundation has pledged support towards the project to overhaul the athletic fields here at the Air campus. It is with tremendous gratitude I thank Mr. Norton for his contributions to our district, and with distinct honor, I now present you Mr. Robert Norton. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was the good news. That was really great. The bad news, it's probably all downhill from here, but here we go. I thank you for the school committee for inviting me to participate at this graduation ceremony. Best wishes to the class of 2019, right up there with the class of 61. And a very special recognition to the faculty administrators who are here, who are invested both professionally, I suspect emotionally, in the future of this great class. You know, it seems like only yesterday I spoke at an Air Shirley High School graduation. It was actually 58 years ago at Theater Number 3 at Dunford Devons. That much I can remember, but my speech not so much. I'm guessing it was probably fairly political. My wife tells me that, and possibly at least 10% of the people in the audience agreed with me, so I promise none of that today. There's also a little nostalgia in the air for me this evening. There's a house that you can see right back over there that's gray, 134 Washington Street. That's where we lived when my dad was appointed superintendent of schools here, and I spent my first 5 or 6 years of humanity in that place. I went by it today and it's for sale. I'm not sure I know what that means, but at least I've come full circle. Now, hopefully for a little substance. So I asked myself, what can a 75-year-old retired business type share with a group of 18-year-olds that would be remotely of interest? I think you all have a pretty good understanding of what to expect in the years ahead, more than I do, because I'm not in your shoes. On the other hand, I've had the chance and amazing opportunities over the last 5 or 6 decades to watch and engage with people, both individual and groups, seeing them succeed, seeing them fail in their quest for particular definitions of success. I have seen it, I've been a part of it in countless locations, countless organizations, and countless cultures. Just for perspective, I had a 5-year assignment in Africa and the Middle East where almost 80% of my co-workers and key constituents were Muslim. And even within the Muslim population, there was incredible diversity. When results, and more importantly, what drive results, repeat themselves in varying cultures and value systems, it's worth thinking about a little bit. To put it bluntly, if you don't pay attention to it, it can be a risky business. So if I could give you but one thing to think about, maybe 2 things to think about, they're teams and targets. Teams and targets. In the case of targets, I could use the more conventional term goals, but my Marine Corps DNA brings me to targets. It's just much more exciting. Understanding and exploiting these 2 closely related concepts can fuel for you major league competitive advantage in so many ways. At the end of most people's day, achievement of team targets far outweighs anything you might do individually. That may seem counterintuitive to you now, but as time passes by, I think you'll recognize this. I know I did. I used to have a few individual athletic and scholastic achievements here at this school. I can't remember most of them, but I can tell you one thing. I can recall in detail, winning multiple baseball and basketball championships, not enough football games, and being part of a group of Panthers finishing with perfect scores in at least 2 a cappella choir state competitions. My football career at Princeton was what you might call unremarkable. But I can replay in my mind each of our undefeated junior varsity season games where I quarterbacked the Tigers and took special delight in our defeating, among other notables, West Point Army, kicking them up and down the field. How sweet the memory. I have many other examples of great teams and non-athletic pursuits, as I know you do. Being an effective team member and team player will make your lives and your life's endeavors much more interesting and rewarding. I guarantee it. You heard it here. Guaranteed. There are finite skills involved in all of this, many of which you probably already possess. Most of this is not, as they say, rocket science. But it's truly amazing to me how often these skills fall by the wayside to indifference and personal ego. The most obvious skills involve listening, communicating clearly and honestly, knowing what you're supposed to do and do it, having your mates back, understand what makes your teammates tick as well as what makes you tick. Selflessness, probably the most important, and commitment to team targets. Not rocket science, but critically important. Now, a few comments about targets or goals, and I'll keep it very simple. I play golf, sort of. But golf has been described as an allegory for life. There's a great story about Ben Hogan, a golf god, whose interpersonal skills were less than outstanding, but he knew stuff. It was his delivery that got people crazy. He was playing in a tournament lying one stroke in a par 4, 200 feet from the pin. He asked his caddy for the proper line. The caddy put his finger up in the air, analyzed the wind speed and direction, and told Hogan to aim for the second large oak tree to the right of the pin. Ben just stand there and responded with icy precision, "Son, which branch are we talking about?" Whoops. But it's not as nutty as it sounds. If you want to focus on the target, focus on the darn target. Another golf legend speaks to the same idea. You probably haven't heard of him, but there's a guy named Harvey Penick. He was a short of stature Texan who's been called one of the greatest teachers of the game of golf and the game of life. One of his legacies is this little red book. I've been waiting for years to do this. Not this little red book. This is Chairman Mao's little red book, a book of hate. I got it 30 years ago in Addis Ababa. This one, Harvey Penick's little red book. That was a stretch, but I really wanted to use it. In one chapter, he discusses short preparations. He says, take aim. Take dead aim. In other words, pick out the right branch. And then, as we say in the Marines, fire for effect. Blow it away. Every time when one of his players teed off in a tournament, the last thing Harvey would say at the first tee was, take dead aim. So I urge you to find opportunities and ways to effectively team with others as your team pursues clear targets. You do that and you'll be smiling very often. I guarantee it. I'd like to share with you briefly 2 examples of my life experiences that demonstrate what I've been saying just now. One is particularly etched in my mind. While serving in Vietnam in 1968 as a lieutenant and then captain of the Marine Corps, I led a team of 6 Marines operating what was left of an airstrip landing zone in a remote combat base called Quai Son. You might have heard of it, if not, your parents probably have. It was on the nightly news back in the day when people actually watched the nightly news. The North Vietnamese were trying to overrun the base. Quai Son was not exactly a destination resort. I can picture my team in my mind's eye even to this day. It was comprised of a red-headed sergeant from Georgia named Forsyth, who was our diesel mech and kept the power on. An African-American sergeant named Sellers from New York City, who kept the radios operating. A Polish PFC named ASRHS from Philadelphia, who kept the radars up and running most of the time. An Italian called Franco from someplace in the Northeast, who was an air traffic controller, and a gunnery sergeant named Von Hemel from Wisconsin, who controlled airplanes, helicopters, and Marines, and yours truly in charge from Air, Massachusetts. I did have a full head of hair then. We were a well-trained bunch, united in our mission of keeping the airstrip or what was left of it operational, primarily to evacuate our Marine casualties, and also, and very importantly, getting ourselves out of there at some point in one piece. We operated seamlessly, courageously when called for, and selflessly. Rank did not mean much. Achieving the target and objective meant everything. Everything. We, by the way, succeeded on all counts. I have the pictures to prove it. And by the way, something for the class to think about. The median age of that team was 20 years. 20 years, just 2 years from you guys. Here's a business example to further drive my point home. Later in my career, we had just consolidated all of Pfizer's worldwide drug businesses, which involved combining for the first time the U.S. and international businesses and their organizations. 2 sets of leadership teams would become one, with winners and second-place finishers. 2 organizations that actually competed with each other within the organization would become unified, a real-world team of rivals. I was fortunate to become one of the members of that band of brothers and sisters. So we subsequently had a top-secret meeting outside of town, our town was New York, to work on the goals and targets for the new organization. We were then on the cusp of a number of new product opportunities. We had a business that was clearly on the rise. We were ranked number 7 in the world. We reviewed reams of data based on countless scenarios for the competition, the overall market, and us. It looked like we could make number 3 position in the world by 2001, and with a little bit of luck, maybe number 2. Looked good, but in our last session, someone It might have been me. I honestly can't remember. Said they were not cool with the idea of walking around our organization expressing pride and excitement in the quest for second place. Let's find a way to go for the lead. #1 in the world by 2001. Hell, it even rhymes. Well, the rest is history. But our somewhat nervous leader took great pains to make it clear that we had until December 31st, 2001 at midnight to make it. Every day provided additional cover. Our corporate staff back in New York were horrified when we heard about what we were up to, committing to goals that probably weren't achievable, and they were pretty sure we'd already leaked it to the press, which we had. During the following months, my responsibilities took me to various locations around the world. On one such journey, I visited our organization in Spain. And while there, I had a chance to ask one of our warehouse staff, "What's the goal of FISA Spain?" He boldly proclaimed, "Numero uno" in 2001. The 2001 was for my benefit. I kid you not. With that, I was very confident. And you know, we achieved that #1 position a year and a half early. Sweet. Just like beating Army. By the way, I checked the data yesterday, and FISA still holds the top position, but it's extremely close. It may be time for another secret meeting. Now let's get really close to home. When I went to high school here, we had fellow students from Ayr, Shirley, and Fort Devens. Most of us townies in Ayr went through the town's public schools from elementary through high school. The Fort Devens kids rotated in and out yearly, creating both hope and chaos in our sports teams, and more importantly, in our social lives. I can't tell you how tough that was. The Shirley crowd magically appeared in the 9th grade and teamed with all of us to completion, and a team we often were, but sometimes rivals. I can recall pitching to my catcher, Dickie Canoyer, a Shirley guy on our outstanding Ayr High School baseball teams, and fighting with him and the other Shirley folks during the summer leagues when the two towns fielded separate teams, and then returning to the fall and play football together in common cause. We were something of a team of rivals, but we established friendships that would endure forever. I can still remember Canoyer, my buddy, talking trash to me during my summer at bats against Shirley. Classless. You guys have had the same opportunity here in your school to make many friendships from both communities, which you're going to have for a lifetime. I took the ultimate step. I married a Shirley girl, also known as Janice Graves, and a cheerleader, even called my name on occasion. We're still married after some 55 years. Some team there, huh? By the way, I attribute this success to strong and enlightened leadership. We just can't agree on who the leader is. So graduates of the class of 2019, focus on teams, focus on targets is a recipe for achievement. To all those who are following in your footsteps and their families, nurture the great teams of Ayr and Shirley. Move them to new heights. Do all of this. My dad is watching from somewhere. Our entire family is certainly watching. We have very high expectations, and as you probably know, we're here to assist you. All the best to you, and thank you for the opportunity to participate in your great day.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Up next will be the musical selection, A Million Dreams, from the Ayr Shirley Regional High School Concert Choir, under the direction of Mr. Tim Ketterer. so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take.
A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled with things from far away. Ooh.
special things I compile, each one there to make you smile.
On a rainy day, they can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but see that you'll bring me along to the world you see.
To the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake.
A million dreams.
I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Good evening. Congratulations, class of 2019. Tonight, I have the honor and privilege of introducing the salutatorian of the Air Shirley Regional High School class of 2019, Alana Miska. I have known Alana since she started kindergarten. At that time, I was the librarian at Page Hilltop School. Teachers do not usually have the opportunity to teach the same students in elementary school and again in high school. However, I have been lucky enough to have that special opportunity and to see Alana become the extraordinary young woman she has become over the past 13 years. Alana has excelled academically and in extracurricular activities. She was inducted into the National Honor Society in her sophomore year and was recently honored with a Certificate of Academic Excellence by the Merrimack Valley Superintendents Association. She's been a member of the girls' varsity soccer team and has played first flute and piccolo in the high school's concert band since freshman year. Alana has been involved with the robotics team since its rookie year when she was in 7th grade. She has served in several leadership roles with the team and has encouraged younger students to become involved with robotics as a founder of the Summer STEM Week for students in grades 4 through 8, and through her involvement with Tech Kids, a STEM program for girls in grades 4 and 5. Alana has embraced all of these activities and achievements with humility, grace, and always with a smile. These characteristics will serve her well as she moves into the next chapter of her life at WPI, where she plans to study chemical engineering. It is my honor to present Alana Miska.
Good evening, family, friends, faculty, distinguished guests, and of course, my fellow graduating class of 2019. I'm so proud to stand here before you all as a representative of this outstanding and enthusiastic class. Some of you I've been with since preschool, and some of you just recently joined the Air Shirley community. Regardless, this class has grown incredibly close this past year, bonding over senioritis and the common cluelessness of what to do with the rest of our lives. Now that we have finally made it here, I am honored to address this class one last time before we all go our separate ways. I know that most of the speeches we will hear today will give us final advice preparing us for our future, but I'm not going to stand up here and pretend like I have any idea what to expect. Instead, I'd like to take this time to reflect on our past 4 years, because if you have experienced senior year anything like I did, you've been so focused on getting to this point and trying to prepare for the next steps of life that you haven't had enough time appreciating the best moments of high school. High school is like a lollipop. It looks sweet from the outside, takes forever to get through, it sucks until the end, but overall you'll miss it when it's gone. You may not have realized it, but our graduating class has made an impact on this small school, which has had so many big accomplishments these past 4 years. Here's just a short list to highlight our impact. Last year, the hockey and track teams were state champions. This year, boys soccer and lacrosse are champions of their league. The robotics team competed at the World Championship 3 out of our 4 years. The concert band and choir earned a total of 4 bronze and 4 silver medals at MICA. Our mock trial team beat schools twice our size and earned a spot in the Elite 8. And our very own class president, Brooklyn Mitchell Arno, earned both the school and Mr. Donovan $5,000 as a winner of the National My Favorite Teacher contest. And these are just to name a few, as I'm sure there are many more that I can think of. If we can impact this school and accomplish all of these feats in just the 4 years of high school, imagine what we can do in our next 4 years and the next after that. Later, when you look back at your high school experience, I hope that these are the things you remember. Your best accomplishments made alongside your closest friends that have really just become a second family. But maybe you didn't achieve everything you wanted in high school. Maybe you have no idea who you want to be or what you're most interested in. Good. There's a world full of opportunity beyond this school. And starting tonight, we have a clean slate. Graduation marks the beginning of the rest of our lives, and you have the power to do with it whatever you want. Be the change you want to be. Continue to do what makes you happy, and leave behind what doesn't. Try new things, find new hobbies and passions. It's your life, and as young adults, we are free to take control. Before I conclude my speech, I'd like to thank my parents for providing me with the best opportunities and for your constant love and support throughout high school, as well as the next steps as I go into college. And to the class of 2019, I'd like to leave you with a quote that has stuck with me and I hope will stick with you, by Dr. Seuss. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Thank you.
Unfortunately, Mr. Gubellini couldn't be here this evening. He would like people to know that he is okay. So I will do my best to read Mr. Gubellini's words. Bryce, I hope I do him the full Gubellini-isms that I know he would like to bestow on you. Members of the school committee, Dr. Malone, Mr. Cleary, Mr. Christie, Dr. Meyer, members of the high school faculty, and of course, the class of 2019. Tonight, I have one of the great honors of my career introducing Bryce Valliere as the valedictorian of the Air Shirley Regional High School graduating class of 2019. I've gotten to know Bryce as a member of the golf and mock trial teams since he was in 8th grade. I've also taught Bryce in a number of classes. Over the years, Bryce has become, at times, my conscience, too often recently, my memory, and always my friend. What has always struck me about Bryce, beyond his acumen as a student, is his character as a human being, and his thoughtfulness as he makes important decisions. I spent a great deal of time with Bryce early in his high school years as he truly agonized over whether to leave Air Shirley for a private school to which he had been accepted. When he told me he was staying, I looked skyward and thanked whatever higher power there might be. This decision made Air Shirley Regional High School a much better place. It also improved the golf and mock trial teams. Most recently, I was with Bryce when he agonized over whether to take part in senior skip day. He was truly conflicted over what to do. The struggle was real. I probably shouldn't say this in front of administration. Thank you, Mr. Gubellini. And I hope I don't get him in trouble with his wonderful parents, Dave and Tammy. But I was secretly pleased when he decided to take part, knowing that this too was a milestone of a different type for Bryce. It is my honor to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Bryce Valliere.
Before I begin, I would like to thank the members of the school committee, Dr. Malone and Mr. Cleary, for their continued support and for being here tonight. I would also like to thank Mr. Christie for the opportunity to speak here tonight. And as you know, Dr. Meyer unfortunately could not be here today, but I would like to extend my thanks to her as well for the ability to speak here tonight and wish her son good luck at nationals. Thank you to all of my teachers that we have had through the years for supporting us in every step of the way. I would like to especially thank Mr. Donovan, our amazing class advisor. There is no way that we could be where we are without him, even though he seems to bring bad luck to concession stands. I am honored to be part of his last class as an advisor. I would also like to especially thank Ms. Rader for always helping me with the deposits and reimbursements for our class and robotics. And I would like to thank Mr. Gubellini. I don't know what to say about him. He's been my mentor for the last 4 years, and I'm not sure I'd even be speaking to you without him. Before I proceed, I have a couple more things I'd like to say. First, I would like to congratulate Ian Keane one more time for his hole-in-one. I'm glad that I was a small part of that amazing accomplishment, Ian. And finally, before I begin my speech, I want to dedicate my speech to Miss Martone. I don't know where I'd be without Miss Martone. She was so much more than just my math teacher. Her smile will always live on, and I'm wearing a pin today in her memory. Now, it will come as no surprise to many of you that golf was an important part of my high school experience, and maybe even the most important part. So, it is also no surprise that I will be using a golf quote for my speech. As Bobby Jones, the co-founder of the Masters Golf Tournament, once said, "Golf is the closest game to the game we call life. You get bad breaks from good shots, you get good breaks from bad shots, but you have to play the ball where it lies." I think this quote can sum up a lot of our high school years. To begin our sophomore year, we had only one returning math teacher from the previous year, and by the end of the year, there were none of the same math teachers from our freshman year. Using the language of Bobby Jones, that would clearly be a bad shot. But as a school community, we received a great break from that shot. We replaced the former department with this amazing group of teachers. And what did the school do with the situation that we were given? We made it possible for 31 kids to take AP Calculus BC and 49 kids, 2 classes worth, to take AP Statistics this year. The point of that quote in the example is to show that we have, as a community, always been able to overcome adversity and deal with the hand that we are dealt. You see, in my opinion, we will all take away more from our time in high school than the actual education. In fact, the most important things that I have learned in high school are not the things that were taught in the classroom. I have always had the mentality that you get whatever you put into your education. So I was always more concerned about the other things I could get out of high school. The most important skill that I've picked up in high school is public speaking, a skill that I need in order to be speaking in front of you right now. In the classroom, everything from presenting in front of the class to something as small as reading out loud to the class has helped develop my skills in speaking. Outside of the class, activities such as presenting to a judge in mock trial and selecting an alliance in robotics have also presented me with opportunities to work on my public speaking. It is things like this that we all must take out of our high school education more than anything else. But even with all that helping me, the one thing that was the biggest influence on my ability to speak in front of a crowd is all of you. All of you, meaning my fellow students in the class of 2019. You have made me feel accepted, which gives me the confidence to be able to speak in front of everyone tonight. The impact of that feeling is larger than many of you may know. I remember being so shy as a child entering kindergarten, and now I am here. And with Mr. Gubalini's words, and Mr. Christie filling in with him, you all now know that I did almost leave the high school, and it is you, the class of 2019, that kept me here. So before I leave you with the last words of advice from me, and before we part and begin to go our separate ways, I want to thank you, the class of 2019, for being the most supporting group of people that I have ever met. We are all strong together because we are strong individuals, and we will bring something important to the table. I know all of you will be successful in whatever your future entails. So as I leave this stage, I want you all to remember the most important thing from our high school experience is not learning that the cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2, or that the stock market crash occurred on 10/29/29. We have all gained some valuable skills in high school, which set us up to be successful in all of our future endeavors. Every one of us will be successful as long as we, in the words of Jack Nicklaus, the greatest golfer of all time, resolve never to quit, never to give up, no matter the situation. Thank you, the class of 2019.
Thank you, Alana and Bryce, for your truly inspiring speeches. Up next, we will have the musical selection Shenandoah, performed by the Air Shirley Regional High School Concert Band under the direction of Mr. Tim Ketterer. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor at this time to present to the Air Shirley Regional School Committee and the Superintendent of Schools the graduates of the class of 2019 for the conferring of their diplomas. As principal of Air Shirley Regional High School, I have certified that the students before you have satisfied all graduation requirements and competencies as articulated by the Air Shirley Regional Public Schools and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Senior Class President, Brooklyn Tiana Mitchell Arno, graduating with high honors. Valedictorian and Senior Class Treasurer, Bryce Cody Valier, graduating with highest honors. Salutatorian, Alana Christine Miska, graduating with highest honors. Senior Class Vice President, Dante Anibo Sequeira, graduating with high honors. Senior Class Secretary, Robert Charles Hood. Senior Class Public Relations, Elena Elizabeth Scott. Senior Class Representative, Matthew Robert Blood. Senior Class Representative, Hannah Elizabeth Justice, graduating with high honors. Senior Class Representative, Sarah Ann Parrish, graduating with honors. Senior Class Representative, Haley Lynn Sheriff, graduating with high honors. Andre Reed Aronson, graduating with honors. Julia Marie Adams, graduating with highest honors. Nicholas Matthew Alessandri. Rachel Marie Arsenault, graduating with high honors. Nathan Bradley Ash. Haitham Bashir. Adeline Rose Becker. Katie Marie Bokum. Chastity Penelope Boo. Kelsey May Bozek, graduating with highest honors. Cameron David Brault. Colin Robert Brault. John Withrow Jayarvaman Brewer. Raylan Darren Lacap Buendia. Ariana Ray Cambridge, graduating with high honors. Quincy Sue Ellen Sky Carter. Cole Boyden Casto. Allison Kate Saballero, graduating with highest honors. Chloe Marie Chesbro, graduating with honors. Alexander Thomas Conry. Carolyn Nicole Cooper, graduating with high honors. Laura Jane Cullinan. Olivia Rose Davis, graduating with high honors. Julia Torres Tavares de Souza. Thomas Charles Dentino, graduating with high honors. Jillian Elizabeth Deschler, graduating with honors. Madison Shea Drew. Lucas George Francis Dumas. Andrew Thomas Essalonis. Brooke Elizabeth Farley. Montgomery Conan Fish. Hadassah Elizabeth Flagg, graduating with highest honors. Daniel Francis Fleming. Elise Hadley Fredericks, graduating with honors. Eric William Gravel. Jocelyn Julia Hart. Ethan Eric Haas, graduating with honors. Emily Joanna Hernandez, graduating with honors. Michaela Marie Hoffman. Kayla Alicia Holland, graduating with highest honors. Kiana Grace Holland, graduating with honors. Curtis James Holmes. Sydney Victoria Howard. Danielle Marie Jean, graduating with high honors. Daniel William Kane. Stanislav Stanomirov Kenarov, graduating with honors. Ryan James Kilcummins, graduating with high honors. Rebecca Joan King, graduating with honors. Jessica Ann Lacey. Ryan William Landry. Jason John Langlace Jr., graduating with honors. Maya Avis Lewis, graduating with high honors. Caitlin Karandi McKay, graduating with high honors. Zaneb Majudu, graduating with high honors. Timothy Preston Manchester, graduating with high honors. Mick Edward Matrano. Brandon Emmanuel Morales, graduating with high honors. Student Council President Shandy Nana Takendo Jinge, graduating with high honors. Anna Brooke Norton. Erin Olivia Norton. Megan Frances Partridge. Bruna Gabrielle Pinheiro. Ashlyn Elizabeth Prell. Nicholas Puerto. Raven Teagan Quirk. Emma Marie Rakip. Giselle Annalise Odil Ramos. Camilla Nicole Ramos Mercado, graduating with high honors. James Woodrow Robinson. Jessica Johanna Rosales. Leonardo Rosales. Jessica Nicole Russell. Noah Andrew Salmon. Dane Fur Santos, graduating with high honors. Lucas David Sargent, graduating with honors. Sean Ryan Simpson, graduating with high honors. Student Council Vice President Brandon Rourke Soto, graduating with honors. Megan Riley Strout. Sierra Rose Thomas. Connor Wayne Tippett. Autumn Tomeo, graduating with honors. Wesley James Trumbo. Jason Malcolm Buglis, graduating with honors. Kyle James Webster. James Philip Wilson. Mackenzie Paige Wilson. Anthony Lewis Winship, graduating with honors. Noelle Pauline Wood, graduating with honors.
Class of 2019, please rise. Grasp your tassel and turn it from right to left. Congratulations. This officially concludes our ceremony for this evening. Thank you.